115学年度高中英语听力测验。
第一部分对答，说明，请听语音内容，从4个选项中选出一个最适当的回应。每题播放1次。Part A.
Wait, is that Francis? Hey!
Hi, Joanne. What are you guys up to?
Oh, Melody and I just finished our last final exam.
Oh, we're so exhausted. By the way, how's your final?
Oh, it's a disaster. But during preparation, those reading got me into thinking about something beyond the text itself. So after reading Glory of Women, what really struck me was how it shows women being locked into these rigid gender roles. Sassoon's poem actually revealed how society framed women into glorifying war without really seeing what it was.
Yeah, I also got the same feeling. The poem was harsh toward women's attitude, like even their support becomes something destructive. I can see the women Sassoon depicted are quite supportive of war, or at least what they think war stood for, sort of romanticizing it.
Yeah, and when he says they can't believe soldiers break down, it's like he's pointing to how disconnected people were from the actual trauma. And I think the point of this poem is to kind of accuse women for ignorance of these actual harms soldiers were forced to face. But I suppose we shouldn't read it that bluntly, because there are always structural problems behind perceived phenomena.
That is true, and I think women are taught to see war through stories of heroism and chivalry, not through mud, blood, and breakdowns.
The point here is they were taught to do so. Also, they really don't have access to certain information because of their supposedly domestic social role.
I feel like it's more about how people's roles limit what they're able to see, rather than simply putting it as gender differences.
Right, and that's the point, what really matters. I would see this poem not as just about war or women, but revealing how systems shape what people can receive and act, how those roles can create blind spots that feels normal but actually keeps us from understanding what's really going on. Question. According to this conversation, what is true about this poem? A. The speakers think Sassoon is sexist. B. The speakers haven't finished their finals yet. C. The speakers think the readers should also consider structural problems behind a phenomenon. D. One of the speakers disagrees with the others.
Part B. When people ask why Eveline didn't leave, I think the better question is, did she really have a choice?
Yeah, and it makes more sense when we consider the historical context. In early 20th century Dublin, women had almost no economic or social independence.
Right. I think Eveline is passive even when she tries to leave with Frank.
I see what you mean, and I feel like Eveline is raised to survive by attaching herself to a man. First her father, then Frank. She kind of sees Frank as someone who can save her.
She's never taught to imagine a life where she chooses for herself. It's never really presented as an option for her.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from her mother, who expected her to hold the family together. That's exactly what keeps her stuck.
From a modern perspective, leaving feels like an obvious answer though. I really hope Eveline could have her own life.
I think it's more possible today. Women still face some obstacles, but they surely have more choices.
So the story actually reminds us that freedom isn't just about opportunity. We also have to be allowed to choose. Otherwise, opportunities would remain invisible.
Do you think Joyce had any gender bias when he wrote this story?
Honestly, no. I'd say he's just describing reality, not criticizing anyone.
I agree. Joyce never judges her. He doesn't portray her as weak or foolish.
Exactly. Instead, he shows her paralysis as the result of social pressure, family duty, and fear. It's nothing about personal failure.
Yeah, it's a very honest story. And I feel like Joyce is showing how her choice is actually between different limits.
Question. What is Joyce's attitude toward Eveline according to the speakers? A. He thinks she's foolish. B. He loves her. C. He shows sympathy for her, implying a choice between limits. D. He thinks she should live with Frank.
Part C. When I read the Feminist Manifesto, I honestly have mixed feelings. At times, I can't tell whether Mina Loy is actually trying to liberate women. I agree with her call to stop defining ourselves through men and instead look inward, but I'm confused by her second-person tone.
I get what you mean. It feels like she's excluding herself from women as a group, almost speaking from a superior position.
Exactly, but what really troubles me is her push for women to take on race responsibility. That seems to contradict her goal of freeing women from being defined as mothers.
I see. She calls for sexual liberation, yet still objectifies women by centering their reproductive ability. The way she lectures women doesn't feel different from a male voice doing the same thing.
Yeah, from a modern perspective, this feels like lingering patriarchy, especially the idea that women should see reproduction as a new form of power. That rhetoric has often been used to preserve male lineage. Her claim that women must balance fragility with indomitable will also feels deeply patriarchal.
I guess we don't really see Loy as truly speaking for women today, but we still have to recognize her as part of an important historical push toward change.
Just like how we have material to discuss right now, we get a glimpse of how people might have perceived women in the past.
That's true. Any voice about women sparks discussion, and discussion leads to progress. Question: which of the following statements is true about the speaker's view on the Feminist Manifesto? A. They think it's a piece of trash. B. They regret reading it. C. They may not agree with it, but they agree that it has its value in history. D. They disagree with her ideas completely. 本测验试题全部播放结束。